So what's she up to? Is she gearing up for a presidential run or not? Fred Malek has advised the former governor in the past, stays in close touch with her. One might argue he might be the only one in Washington that stays in touch with her. So, Fred, I got to ask, is she doing the things, and I know that you're not advising her actively at this point,
right,
but is she doing the things that a potential presidential candidate should be doing, or do you think there's some other things she ought to be doing as well?
I don't think she's doing the things that a presidential candidate would do. I think she's doing the things that somebody who really wants to forge a media career very successfully would do, and she's doing it. She's doing it very successfully. Her book tour was a huge hit, best-selling book, new TV show coming about, the Fox News stuff that she's doing, as well as her speaking engagement. I think Bob Barnett, who represents her and all that stuff, is probably the person most in touch with her.
So there's a political celebrity aspect to that she's pushing that fact.
Hugely so. Yeah.
I think it was interesting. Our reporter who attended the Southern Republican Leadership Conference really observed that even the grassroots, the people that love Sarah Palin, love to hear her speak. I mean, the crowds go wild for her. Weren't exactly, anxious to see her run for president.
They weren't?
They were not.
Yeah. No, it was an interesting.
They loved her, but it wasn't like they were saying, and she's got to run in 2012.
And you had her, for instance, so she spoke at the thing. Mitt Romney did not speak, didn't even attend, and he wins the straw poll. I mean, that tells you something about that she's not. There is no organization, sort of Sarah Palin running a campaign, right?
There is no organization that I can see. But look, she's carved out a different career for herself at this point, and I think you got to take her at her word. A lot of people kind of read a lot of things into things and don't believe what some of these political
We're
figures
used to
say.
Washington guys,
that's right. But what she has said is, she said, look, I don't know what I'm going to do in the future. If God opens a certain door and it seems like it's the right thing for myself, my family, and my state, my country, I'll walk through it. So I don't think she's made up a definitive decision, but I don't believe she's planning to run.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask you what you think about the so-called Tea Party movement, which I don't think it's monolithic. I think people are just saying there's a segment of the Republican Party that's very vocal, very motivated. What effect do you think they're going to have, particularly in the midterms?
Savannah, I think they're terrific. I really think it's a terrific thing to have the Tea Party out there. They don't identify themselves as Republicans, although I think they believe in most of the principles we do. But look at the last 2 days in Washington with what they did in Washington. They brought attention to the fact that we're taxing too much and we're spending too much. And we all know that the biggest threat facing our country long term are these mounting deficits in this debt, which is going to grow to $20 trillion by 2019. We all know that's a huge threat, but nobody's doing anything about it. Thanks to the Tea Party for bringing it to our attention.
I want to go, you're an active tweeter, and one of the things I've noticed that every now and then is you're not afraid to say, boy, these look like, here's your guys that look like presidential candidates right now. So who's doing the things behind the scenes that maybe we're not seeing preparing for a 2012 run? We know Mitt Romney is, but who else?
Well, I think you see it. I think you see Tim Pawlenty out there with a pack and moving around the country in support of candidates. I think you see it very clearly with Mitt Romney. I don't believe anybody else is overtly out there. I really believe, Chuck, the focus has to be on 2010.
So you don't think Haley Barbour's doing things?
No, he's really not. Haley's focusing on 2010, and let me tell you why that's important. If we do what we think we can do through the Public Governors Association in 2010, it'll set the stage. I'm the finance chair for the Executive Roundtable there. We ended up the quarter with $31 million in cash on hand. That's 4 times what we had in 2006.
And more than a certain other Republican organization.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
And more than the Democrat, more important, better than the Democrat counterpart. I think we can take 6 big swing states and convert them from blue to red. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Iowa, Wisconsin, Colorado.
I've heard of those.
We win those 6 big states. They're all swing states. That sets the stage for a successful run in 2012. That's the best thing we can do.
All right, Fred Malek, strategist, former presidential aide, and sometime advisor to Governor Palin. Thank you. It's nice to have you with us.
Nice to be with you.
Appreciate it.